And one story about the Takasugi Shinsaku here was that when Takasugi Shinsaku visited Nagasaki, he saw the testament of the Christianity there. And yeah, of course, that was not the English version, but translated and into the Chinese text. And when he read the testament, and he shouted that this teaching is almost the same with the Wanyamin school's teachings. But anyway, and after the Meiji Restoration, he was promoted to the Meiji new government, and he became the officer. The name is, the role was the Monbu Daijo. The senior officer originally selected as the candidate by the prime minister, and became the committee member of which was supposed to specify the Meiji school law under the Meiji new government. And he was also known as a leading person of the Japanese calligrapher. So he was very, very good at the calligraphy, and so he published the 7 series books about the calligraphy, especially for the elementary school student. So in that aspect, he was also the very, very famous person. And finally, he became the tutor of the Prince of Emperor. And finally, he became the tutor of Taisho Emperor. So he was also the very great person. And so I already briefly explained about the role of him in terms of the student of the Kangi En. But it is possible to say that the modern education system was already created at the end of the Edo era, and that was established by the Hirose Tanso in the Kangi En. So and also, so that's why there are several discussions about the establishment of the Meiji school law, and generally it is understood that the modern education system in the Meiji era was somehow the Meiji new government tried to absorb the modern system from France and also the UK. But actually, if we look at the system itself, the system was very, very similar with the system which was hired and established by the Tanso in the Kangi En. So there are the 6 factors which why we can say like that. And first one is it is said that the Meiji school law was established based on the education system of France and also UK, and this is a common understanding. But on the other hand, Tanso already insisted the equality of the people, regardless of their social class, and established a modern education system in the Kangi En based on this philosophy. And I already explained about how and what kind of philosophy existed in the Kangi En's education system already the last month. And the third point was so that the very beginning of the Kangi En in 1805, the fundamental philosophy was the equality, fairness, and openness. So this was called as the Sandatsu Ho. So again, this means the philosophy which which, ignore the three aspects of the people. And what is three aspects? Means his the social class and his age, and also his background about education. So that means that every student, when he entered in the Kangien, tried to get higher position only by the getting scores through the examinations in the schools, which was held monthly, so that no student can skip the grade without taking the examination, so that every student have the equal opportunity to get the positions regardless of his social class, age, and also the background of the education. So in other words, it may be possible to say that if the student have the the enough the skills or talent, then he can be the higher the class or grade of the schools faster. On the other hand, the student who didn't have enough skills, or even I may be able to say that even a ridiculous student also can learn in the Kangien. So that the learning speed always depends on his nature. So that nobody have to rush. So this is also the one of the very important feature of the Kangien system, comparing with modern education system. Yeah, because if we look at the current education system in, for example, the elementary school, so of course elementary school have 6 grades, and every the children are supposed to enter the elementary school when he or she became the 6 years old, and also they have to graduate the elementary school when they became the 12 years old. So this means even if there are a variety of the children, some are very smart, but some are not smart. But they have to learn in the same speed. This is not the good thing for the children. So that in Kangien, so every somehow the curriculum and the speed of the learning or education were adapted to or adjusted to the each the students' the skills or the smartness. This is a very, very important portion. And number 4, so 1840, Tanso used the...
That means adult education means individual training.
Individual, yes. Individual training, education training. Up to the children, each individual children's skills or natures. So this is very important.
Wow.
So the fundamental philosophy, they themselves considered for this philosophy by themselves? Or they imported some?
This was the philosophy created or by the Hirose Tanso. So that of course there are so many rules in the schools, but throughout these school rules, the philosophy of Tanso played a very, very important role. So that, or it may be also said that the Tanso's school's system was most advanced education system, even rather than the education system right now.
Right now, or after Meiji era.
So that one of the big topics or the issues in current education system in Japan is that some of the students always drop out because they are not able to catch up the speed of the teaching of a classroom. But this is not because of their fault. This is a fault of the education system. So that the education should be always adjusted and optimized for each individual children. This is a very important portion. So, and number 5, and Cho Sanshu, who was the student of the Kangien and was well known as loyalist of the restoration of the imperial law, and became the bureaucrat of the Meiji government in Meiji III. That was 1870. After the 3 years after the Meiji Restoration, and was installed as an officer of the Ministry of Education and engaged in the drawing up of the Meiji school law. And finally, the grading system of the Meiji school law are almost the same with that of the Kangien. So we already look at how the Kangien's system was, but once again, let's look at